Hi, my name is James Balambalote from BS Data Science Study. So for today, we're going to answer some questions about Rizal. So first, how do you think the political, economic, and social-cultural events of the 19th century shape Rizal's ideals for nationalism and Filipino identity? Well, during the 19th century, Filipino people of this era have experienced being unfortunate victims of the evils of an unjust, biased, and deteriorating power. Owing to Jose Rizal's principles, his ideals for nationalism is to reform the injustices during his time because he witnessed Filipinos suffer so much from the hands of the Spaniards. Filipino people in this time were abused and deprived the very important key to progress of life, which is education. The aim of education for Rizal is to improve the people's thinking and to elevate the country to the highest heights of grandeur. Rizal stated that only education could preserve the country from dominance because it is the cornerstone of society and a precondition for social growth. And with all that were happening during that time, Rizal then started to make a move. Rizal's definition of nationalism is defense against all violence and injustices and encouragement of instruction, agriculture, and commerce. That's why he made a stance and acted as a breaker of misfortunes that Filipino people has encountered from the Spanish colonizers. He was the one who led and inspired the Filipinos to revolt against the Spanish government in order to win independence and control over the country. He is well known for being a propagandist who uses his writings to expose the Spanish government's harsh manipulations of the Filipino people, as well as his method of resisting the Spanish government. Because he believes that it's the only way to attain freedom, he chose a silent battle rather than a brutal one. Other Filipinos were inspired to seek such independence as a result of this. They sparked a slew of uprisings against the government of Spain. Compare and contrast the 19th century Philippines to the 21st century Philippines that we have today. Are there similarities? Are there differences? Well, time flies over us but leaves its shadow behind. Indeed, we already have come a long way from the vestige of yesterday's nightmare. From all of the epic instances from the past, history makes us bring back to a certain situation where we assess and tackle situations from the past and present. Now, let us compare and contrast the Philippines from two different eras, 19th century and 21st century. I want to tackle the differences when it comes to religious, political, economic, and social aspects. First, we have religion. In the 19th century, Catholicism was the only official religion that was practiced, with all other religions being outlawed and prohibited. While there are many different religions to choose from in the 21st century, people are free to practice whatever religion they want. The similarities between these two eras are the religious feasts and occasions are still practiced and celebrated. In the political aspect, during the 19th century, the Philippines was a Spanish colony and a monarchy reigned over the country. As a result of these democratic republican forms of government, our country, which is the Philippines, has gained its independence in the present day. They both have a single system of government, which is the only thing that is similar between the two epochs. The economic aspect, during the 19th century, Filipinos were not permitted to trade with other countries outside the country, while in the 21st century, they are now permitted to trade with other countries after going through proper legal channels. The similarities are that there are banking systems in place. There are, tax collection system in place also. While in the social aspect, historically, women were not allowed to socialize with men, but today it's not considered a big deal when women interact with people of the opposite sex. The practice of mano is similar in both the past and the present eras in that it is done to show respect for elders. Reflect on your secondary education. Did your school comply with RA 1425? Well, during my time in junior high school at Davao City National High School, our Filipino subject has indeed valued our national hero, which is Jose Rizal. Our school complied with the Republic Act 1425, also known as the Rizal Law. According to the law, all educational institutions in the country are required to offer courses on Jose Rizal or courses that are inspired by his life. I can still remember when I was in grade 9 and my professor was teaching us about Rizal's works, specifically Northern Tangere. And I still remember how much I enjoyed it. Indeed, learning Rizal's masterpiece has been a wonderful experience for us, especially since we were required to purchase and read those books. The school's Filipino department went above and beyond to provide us with the best possible learning environment. I was extremely grateful for the school's efforts. It was because of this that we were able to make use of the AVR or the audiovisual room. I must admit that this is an extremely rare occurrence for us because we were studying in a public institution and it's rare for us to experience a comfortable learning environment because we don't have enough laboratories and or facilities to use in our learning. As a result, our school has successfully followed and implemented the aforementioned law.